Our first guest is one of the nation's greatest civil rights leaders that is living currently. From marching with Martin Luther King Jr. in Selma to fighting for diversity in Silicon Valley, he has spent his life in the pursuit of social justice and equality.
Joining us right now to discuss the 18th annual Rainbow Push Wall Street Project Economic Summit, which begins tomorrow right here in New York, is the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Welcome.
Yes.
It's so good to have you
here. Good to be with you guys again.
It's an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, it's such a big deal. The 15th Thursday is Dr. King's actual birth date. So as we try to have this conference around that time every year, Dr. King says we fought to end denial of public accommodations and for the right to vote. We were fighting against indecency and just violations. But now we fight for equality. We're free but not equal. Getting our share of economic justice, return on our investments, is a big deal. You look at Silicon, we cannot help but buy an Apple product or buy a Silicon Valley product. Yeah, they have 20 top companies have 189 board members, 36 white women, 3 black men, and 1 Latino. Boom, that's it. C-suites, worse. But worse than that, it seems to me, is that there's a whole body of young blacks who want to get incubators, want to get high tech going, and can't get the money. So part of the deal with Intel is to get some money, a pool of capital designed to allow us to take it to the next level.
Yeah, and your conference and this economic summit has been fighting against some of those equality.
And really, it's interesting, fighting to make them better. You know, we had to fight baseball to make baseball better. Yeah. The baseball didn't know how good it could be till everybody could play. And all that we're saying is that when they leave us out, they're locking out market, money, talent, location, creativity. I mean, part of the industry is driven by creativity. So you lock us out, you're locking out creativity. We didn't know how good baseball could be till everybody could play. And the same is true with this industry. And so we're simply saying to them, Anthony Krasanich from Intel will be here. He kicks off the conference at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Mr. Krasanich from Intel. He put up $300 million because he kind of gets it. At noontime, there'll be a session with the top 40 corporations, the best diversity records, honored by Black Entertainment, Black Enterprise. On Wednesday, Steve Ballmer, formerly Microsoft, who now owns the LA Clippers, will speak. And the head of the World Bank will speak on Thursday. So it's a dynamite package.
Amazing lineup, yes. Now, every year, the theme of the summit changes, right? And this year, the theme is Wall Street, Main Street, and Silicon Valley converge. So big emphasis.
First, Silicon Valley, we bought a product. There was so much resistance. You know, at first, they did not want to show the EO1 that they implemented because really they were embarrassed by it. These huge, wonderful images, and yet 2 and 3% employment, way down at the bottom. Investment versus zero. They build their stores downtown and suburbs, never in the inner city. And so we represent a lot of market. And so by exposing, now the next ask is, beyond exposing how bad you are, let's not look in the rearview mirrors, looking out the windshield. Where are we going? What's next? And so Intel is saying what's next is set some goals, targets, timetables, and some real money for real opportunities.
Well, we know you've been meeting with a lot of the leaders of the tech world. I mean, last month you had 25 of the top leaders come together from everyone from Google to Intel and various companies.
That was exciting.
How open have they been to effort some of the changes needed?
Interesting enough, you know, that while they put up some resistance because there's like a cultural shift, it's not the cost of doing business, it's business value added. We represent something they need, customers. That's why I said we represent market, we represent investment, we represent talent. We're located where they are not, as they should be now. They don't need to go and get the foreign workers to do STEM work. Train our youth to do STEM work. They're going to begin to invest in black colleges where black engineers are being taught. We can engineer. There is not a talent deficit, there's an opportunity deficit. And we're fighting to expand the doors of opportunity.
Yeah. What other topics are you going to be covering at the summit?
One, the business of hip-hop.
Oh, that's exciting.
Business of the matter, you know. Youth, young people in the first grade learning how to do the stock market game, learn the science of stocks and capital and bonding and how to, what's the bad, what's the bull early on. Corporate boards, how should we get our share of those boards, and how should we act once we get on those boards? That's a piece of it. Venture capital, how to get a lot of people got the skills and the idea, can't get venture capital. That's a piece of it as well. In addition to having those areas. It's going to be 3 days in ministers and labor, real economic focus.
Yeah, well, you know, this is only one aspect of how you've been fighting for equal rights ever since the beginning, from the sit-ins to the marches to now the economic summit. Yeah. How do you think this, the fight for equal rights has evolved over the years, and will we always be fighting? Will it ever be a time
we'll
where
always be fighting? The question is, will we have enough equipment with which to fight? I make the case that our struggle is in stages. The first stage was to end legal slavery. It was a 246-year struggle. Then the next stage was to end legal segregation of Jim Crow. Yeah. The third stage is the right to vote. You can have all of that and starve to death unless you have access to capital, industry, technology, deal flow, and relationships. That's the stage in which we now find ourselves. You look at Wall Street and Harlem on the same island. The wealthiest and the poorest living within 3 or 4 miles.
Yes.
We must build a bridge between Harlem and Wall Street. But we're free but not equal, and that's our next challenge, to get equality.
Yeah. I want to ask you about the movie Selma, because of course you were actually there at the march, the 1965 march, from Selma to Montgomery. What do you think about the film? Have you seen it? What's your reaction?
I've not just seen bits and pieces of it, but let me sufficient to say that with the fact we're discussing it is a good thing. Yeah. Because it reminds us in some measure of where we were, but not insufficient to show the fear factor. It was real. I mean, Serena Goodman Cheney were killed. Meg Evers was killed. Jimmy Lee Jackson was killed. Viola Liza was killed. People lost their jobs. It was real tough tyranny. We were fighting state-sponsored terrorism. That's one part of it. But we won the battle, but we left those who had been fighting it in charge of implementing it. And with Section 4 and 5, we could, in fact, implement the Voting Rights Act. But when the Supreme Court removed Section 4, remove the trigger mechanism, we now are on another level of attack. I hope that the reality does not date the movie, in the sense that in Texas, they took 600,000 off the rolls a month before the election. And the judge said they were wrong, but it was too late to change it. So 600,000 were wiped out. In North Carolina, they took voting moves away from college campuses. Others, they took away the early voting. So the Voting Rights Act, as we know it now, is under attack again.
Wow, I'm sure we can continue talking about this for days to come. But maybe we can get more of these answers maybe these questions answered at your conference. Tell us so we can get more information.
Well, I look forward to seeing you there.
Okay. That's under pressure, okay? Or for those
before and after work, we'll be there.
Where can people get more information? What's the website?
www.rainbowpushwallstreet.org. Get information right now. Some of you can get me, matter of fact, on Twitter at Rev J. Jackson.
Okay.
Like me, Reverend Jesse L. Jackson on Facebook. Okay. And Instagram coming soon.
Okay. Until then, we will see you at the summit.
Savvy. We like that.
All right. We'll see you at the summit. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
I like that promise.
Okay. And we'll be right back with more Rise Entertainment 360.